good evening, and welcome to what might just be the most electrifying moment in tennis we have witnessed this entire year. If you're a sports fan, if you are a believer in impossible, or if you simply love the story of an underdog refusing to die, then you need to stop everything you are doing right now and listen. Because what happened in Abu Dhabi just a few hours ago wasn't just a tennis match, it wasn't just a win, it was a resurrection. It was a statement of pure, unadulterated heart that has sent shockwaves through the WTA Tour and left the entire tennis world with his jaw on the floor. We are talking about Alexandra Eala, the Filipino sensation, the 20-year-old rising star who has been steadily climbing the rankings, currently sitting at a career-high world number 45. But today, she didn't just climb a ranking, she climbed a mountain. She stared into the abyss of defeat. She looked a veteran opponent in the eye who had the match not just in her hands, but in her pocket. And she snatched it back in a way that defies logic, defies physics, and defies every statistic in the book. Let's set the scene briefly before we go deep. This is the round of 16 at the Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open, a prestigious WTA 500 event. The opponent, Alexandra Sasnovich of Belarus, a 31-year-old veteran, experienced, tricky, a player who knows how to close out matches. On paper, Eala is a higher seed now, but Saskovich has experience, and for the first hour of this match, experience was destroying youth. Eala lost the first set 2-6. She was getting battered. She fought tooth and nail to scrape the second set 6-4, leveling the match. But then came the nightmare, the third set, the decider. Ladies and gentlemen, in professional tennis at this level, when you go down a double break in a deciding set, you are dead. It is over. The statisticians turn off their computers. The fans start heading to the exits. The commentators start writing the obituary of the match. Alexandra Eala was down 0-4 in the third set. 0-4, 2 breaks of serve down. She was missing shots, she looked exhausted, and Saskovich was cruising. The Belarusian was playing lights-out tennis, painting the lines, dismantling Eala's game piece by piece. And it got worse. The score moved to 5-2 for Saskovich. The Belarusian was serving the match. She had a match point, 1 single point away from sending Eala packing, 1 point away from ending the Filipinos' campaign. The crowd was hushed. The box was nervous. It was done. It had to be done. There's no coming back from 0-4 and 2-5 down against a veteran on a hard court when you have been playing for nearly 3 hours. It just doesn't happen. But Alexandra Eala didn't get the memo. What followed in the next 30 minutes was nothing short of a miracle. It was an insane comeback in the truest sense of a word. Eala didn't just break back once, she broke the spirit of her opponent. She clawed her way back from the brink of extinction, saving match point with a fearlessness that belongs to a Grand Slam champion. She went from 2-5 down to force a tiebreak, and in that tiebreak, she held her nerve when everyone else would have crumbled. She took the tiebreak 7-5. She won the match 2-6, 6-4, 7-6. She made everyone cry, not just because she won, but because of how she won. We saw tears in the stands. We saw the disbelief on the face of her coaching team. We saw Saskovich completely stunned, unable to comprehend how a victory that was 99.9% secured had slipped through her fingers like sand. Eala turned a massacre into a masterpiece. This victory propels her into the quarterfinals to face the world number 11, Ekaterina Alexandrova. But the scoreline is secondary to the story here. The story is about grit. It is about a refusal to lose that you cannot teach. This is the kind of performance that defines a career. We have seen Eala do great things before. We remember the U.S. Open girls title. We remember the upset against Clara Tauson. We remember the win against Madison Keys. But this was different. This was a digging your own grave and then climbing out of it kind of win. This is the match that tells a locker room you are never safe against Alex Eala. You can be up 5-0, you can have match point, but until you shake her hand at the net, she is coming for you. The social media reaction has been explosive, insane, impossible, the pride of the Philippines. The descriptors are flying, but none of them seem to do justice to the sheer psychological warfare we just witnessed on Court 1 in Abu Dhabi. To be down 0-4 in the third set requires a mental reset that most veterans can't even pull off, let alone a 20-year-old. She had to win 6 of the next 8 games just to stay alive. She had to be perfect when the margin for error was 0. So why does this matter? Why are we dedicating this entire broadcast to a round of 16 match? Because sports are a metaphor for life. And today, Alex gave us the ultimate lesson in resilience. She showed us that hopeless is just a word people use when they stop trying. She proved that as long as there is one ball left to hit, the narrative is yours to write. In a few moments, I'm going to take you through this match point by point, game by game. We're going to break down the tactics, the emotional swings, the specific shots that turn the tide, and the collapse of Saskovich under the relentless pressure of Eala's spirit. We will analyze how Eala adjusted her forehand depth, how she changed her serve placement in the dying moments, and how she used the energy of the crowd, the overseas Filipino workers who showed up in droves, to fuel this impossible upset. This is not just a match recap, this is an anatomy of a miracle. This is a story of how Alexandra Eala surprised the whole world, made everyone cry, and pulled off the comeback of the year. Buckle up, you're watching The Deep Dive.
I will provide you with a news title and some key news segments. Please create a highly professional, extensive news script for a YouTube. To the main body of the script. Let's strip away the hype for a moment and look at the cold, hard reality of what led to this moment. To understand the magnitude of this comeback, we have to understand the context. This is February 2026. The WTA Tour is in the Middle East swing, a notoriously grueling part of the season. The conditions in Abu Dhabi are fast, the courts are unforgiving, and the competition is stacked. Alexandra Eala entered this tournament at a career-high ranking of world number 45. Just let that sink in for a second. 2 years ago, she was fighting in the ITFs, grinding through qualifiers. Now she is a direct acceptance into WTA 500s. She is a legitimate top 50 player, but with that ranking comes a target on your back. You are no longer the cute underdog. You are a scout for the lower-ranked players and a threat to the higher ones. Her opponent, Alexandra Sasnovich, is a story in herself. At 31 years old, the Belarusian has seen everything. She's been at Fed Cup finals. She's beaten Grand Slam champions. She has a game that is unorthodox and rhythm-breaking. She hits flat. She changes direction seamlessly, and she is a master disruption. For a rhythm player like Eala, Sasnovich is a nightmare matchup. Sasnovich is currently ranked 109, but do not let that number fool you. She is a top 50 talent who has had a rough patch. In this match, she played like a top 10 player for 2/3 of the contests. The match began, and frankly, it was a disaster for Eala. The Filipino star looked heavy-legged. Maybe it was the pressure, maybe it was a late start, but she came out flat. Sasnovich, on the other hand, came out firing. The Belarusian strategy was clear: attack the Eala's second serve and keep the rally short. Eala's serve, usually her weapon to set up the point, was malfunctioning. Her first serve percentage hovered around 50% in the opening set. When you were landing only half your first serves against a returner like Sasnovich, you were inviting trouble. Sasnovich was stepping inside the baseline, taking the ball early and rushing Eala. The scoreline of 2-6 in the first set was a fair reflection of the play. Eala was hitting unforced errors, forehands sailing long, backhands catching the net tape. She looked frustrated. She was looking at her box, looking for answers that weren't there. Sasnovich was moving her side to side, exposing Eala's movement and finishing points at the net. It looked like it was going to be a routine day at the office for the veteran. A quick 6-2, 6-3 win. Shake hands and go home. That's what the body language suggested. But if there's one thing we know about the Ruffin Nadal Academy graduate, it is that she does not know how to tank a match. The second set began, and Eala changed her tactics. She stopped trying to out-hit Sasnovich and started trying to out-grind her. She added more topspin to her forehand, pushing Sasnovich back behind the baseline. She started using the moon ball to reset the tempo. It wasn't pretty, it was a dogfight, but it worked.
Eala broke early, got broken back, and then broke again at 4-4. The pivotal moment of the second set came at 5-4. Serving for the set, Eala faced a breakpoint that would have leveled it at 5-5. She hit a gutsy inside-out forehand winner that clipped the line by a millimeter. She held serve, 6-4, match leveled. At this point, you felt the momentum had shifted. The crowd, largely pro-Eala, erupted. Len Pilipinas echoed around the stadium. You thought, okay, she's weathered the storm. Now she takes over in the third. And this is where the script flipped again. Just when we thought Eala was in control, she completely fell apart. The start of the third set was inexplicable. Eala's energy dropped off a cliff. She double-faulted to hand over the opening break, 0-1. Sasnovich held easily, 0-2. Got broken again, hitting a wild volley into bottom of the net, 0-3. Sasnovich held again, 0-4. 0-4 in the decider. Let's pause here and analyze the psychology of 0-4. In tennis, momentum is everything. When you fight so hard to win the second set and then immediately go down a double break in the third, it breaks your heart. It feels like all that effort was for nothing. Your legs feel heavier. The racket feels like it weighs 50 pounds. Eala looked defeated. Her shoulders were slumped. She was walking slowly between points. The commentators were saying it's a shame she fought hard in the second, but she has nothing left in the tank. Sasnovich was playing free. She was hitting winners from everywhere. She looked fresh. At 4-0, Sasnovich just needed to hold serve twice. That's it, just 2 holds. Eala manages a hold for 1-4, stopping the bleeding. A small cheer from the crowd, but it felt like a consolation prize. Sasnovich then held for 5-2. No, Eala broke once to make it 2-4. No, Sasnovich held to make it 5-2. So, here we stand, 5-2, Sasnovich serving for the match. This is the moment. This is a sequence of play that will be replayed on YouTube highlights for years. Sasnovich steps up to the line to serve for the match at 5-2. She is nervous. You can see it. The arm is a little tight, but she gets the match point. 1 point, 1 swing of the racket. Eala stands in the deuce court. She is crouched low. The look in her eyes has changed. It's no longer despair, it's defiance. Sasnovich serves wide. Eala lunges, barely getting a racket on it, floating a defensive slice back deep. The rally ensues. 10 shots, 12 shots, 15 shots. Eala refuses to miss. She is running corner to corner, retrieving balls that should be winners. Sasnovich, sensing the finish line, tries to force a backhand down the line. It catches a net cord and falls back on her side. Match point saved. That net cord was a universe blinking. It was a crack in the door, and Alex kicked that door down. From that moment, the energy on the court shifted violently. Eala broke Sasnovich to make it 3-5. Okay, 1 breakback, but Sasnovich is still up a break. Eala has to hold serve. She does with commanding ace out wide, 5-4. Now the pressure is entirely on Sasnovich. She has to serve for the match, again. The fear of winning is a real psychological phenomenon in sports. Sasnovich starts thinking about the 4-0 lead she blew. She starts thinking about the match point she missed. Her arm turns to jelly. Eala, sensing blood, steps inside the baseline. She rips a forehand return winner on the first point, 0-15. She hits a swinging volley, 0-30. The crowd is going absolutely berserk. The atmosphere in Abu Dhabi sounds like Manila. Every point Eala wins is met with deafening roars. Sasnovich is rattled. She double faults at breakpoint, 5-5. The miracle is real. The comeback is on. Both players hold serve to 6-6. We go to a deciding tiebreak, a 7-point shootout to decide the fate of the match. Tiebreaks in a third set are pure torture. It's not about tennis anymore. It's about who can handle the nausea of the moment better. Eala falls behind early, 0-2, but she claws back, 3-3 at the change of ends. At 5-5 in the tiebreak, we are 2 points away from victory for either player. It's a coin toss. Eala serves. She goes for a risky kick serve out wide. It lands. Sasnovich returns short.
Eala hits a drive volley into the open court, 6-5, match point Eala. The irony is palpable. 20 minutes ago, she faced match point. Now she holds one. Sasnovich serves. A long rally ensues. Eala hits a deep, heavy topspin forehand to the Sasnovich backhand. The Belarusian steps back, tries to change direction, but her footwork fails her. She dumps the backhand into the net. Game, set, match. Eala. The moment that ball hit the net, Eala dropped her racket. She put her hands over her face. She didn't fall to the ground. She just stood there, shaking. The relief, the adrenaline dump, the sheer disbelief of what she had just done washed over her. She walked to the net, shook hands with shell-shocked Sasnovich, and then turned to the crowd. She pointed to her heart. She pointed the flag in the stands. This is why she plays. In her post-match interview, she was breathless. She said, "These kinds of matches in particular are the ones that stick with you. I've had a lot of them in the past year, so I'm really happy with this win." She talked about the moments I only have dreamed about. It wasn't arrogance, it was gratitude. She knew she'd escape a loss that was all but guaranteed. Let's get technical for a minute. How do you come back from 0 to 4? Forehand depth. In the first set and early third, Eala was hitting short. Her balls were landing around the service line, allowing Sasnovich to dictate. From 0 to 4 down, Eala started hitting her forehand with more height and depth. She aimed for the back 3 feet of the court. This pushed Sasnovich back, neutralizing her aggressive flat hitting. The nothing-to-lose mindset. At 0 to 4, Eala relaxed. The pressure of winning was gone because she had already lost in her head. This allowed her arm to swing freely. She started going for her shots again, not guiding them. This paradox, playing better when you're losing, is what separates the champions from the good players. Physical conditioning. We have to credit her fitness team. After 2.5 hours, Sasnovich looked winded. Her movement to the forehand side slowed down half a step. Eala, despite the emotional toll, looked physically fresh in the tiebreak. The work she has done in the off-season, building that leg strength and stamina, paid the ultimate dividend today. The crowd factor. You cannot underestimate the Filipino crowd. In Abu Dhabi, the support for Eala is massive. When she starts, the noise level rose. This creates a feedback loop. Eala gets energy. Sasnovich feels isolated. Tennis is a gladiatorial sport. Having the mob on your side is a distinct advantage. This win sends Eala to the quarterfinals of the WTA 500. The points she gains here solidify her spot in the top 50 and push her closer to a seeding at the upcoming Grand Slams. But more importantly, it changes her reputation. Players talk, coaches talk. They will see the score. Sasnovich led 4-0 in the third. They will see the result. Eala won. That puts fear into opponents. It tells the tour that Eala is a closer, a fighter, someone who will make you bleed for every single point. It also sets up a blockbuster quarterfinal against Ekaterina Alexandrova. Alexandrova is the number 2 seed, the world number 11. She's a big hitter, much like Sasnovich, but better. Eala will need to recover quickly, but after a win like this, the confidence she carries into that match will be sky high. She feels invincible right now. This match also highlights the evolution of Eala's mental game. A year ago, she might have lost this match 2-6, 6-4, 0-6. She might have checked out after the double break. The maturity she showed to stay present, to play 1 point at a time, is a hallmark of a veteran, not a 20-year-old. She is growing up right before our eyes. And let's not forget the history. Eala is breaking barriers for Southeast Asian tennis. Every win at this level is history. Every upset against a veteran is a new benchmark. She is carrying the hopes of a nation that is basketball crazy, but is quickly falling in love with tennis because of her. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what is the takeaway? What do we learn from a tennis match in the middle of the night in Abu Dhabi? We learn that the scoreline is a liar. over until the umpire calls game, set, and match. We learn that the difference between victory and defeat is often just a matter of belief. Alexandra Eala believed when no one else did. She believed when the scoreboard said she was finished. She believed when her opponent was serving for the match. This victory is a testament to the human spirit. It's a reminder that in sports, as in life, you're never truly out of fight until you decide to quit. Eala didn't quit. She dug in, she fought, and she won. Looking ahead, the road doesn't get easier. Tomorrow she faces Ekaterina Alexandrova. It will be the biggest test of her tournament. Alexandrova is fresh, she is powerful, and she is ranked 11 in the world for a reason. Eala will be tired. Her legs will feel the 3 hours she spent on court today, but she will also carry the momentum of a miracle. She will walk onto that court knowing that she can survive anything. If you're a fan of Alexandra Eala, be proud. If you're a fan of tennis, be excited, because we are watching the ascent of a player who is the heart of a champion. This wasn't just a comeback, it was a coronation of her fighting spirit. We will be covering the quarterfinal match right here. Will the fairy tale continue? Can she take down the world number 11 after what we just witnessed? I wouldn't bet against her. This has been your deep dive into the miracle in Abu Dhabi. Alexandra Eala, the 20-year-old sensation, has shocked the world, defied the odds, and proven once again why she's one of the most exciting young talents in the game. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this journey. Keep your eyes on the ball. Keep your passion for the game alive. And remember, it's never over until...